I've always thought of SwitchBot as a company that represents a combination of smart home tech and robotics with some unique products that are hard to find anywhere else. And so when I first met KATA Friends over at IFA last year, I knew this had a lot of potential to not just be a great robot companion, but also a nice part of my smart home. You see, most smart home tech is utilitarian. It lacks the personality, and it just also isn't designed to be engaging for children. And SwitchBot did something clever here. They took their robot vacuum base with the wheels and vision recognition, and this removed the vacuum parts and made it an adorable little friend. And thanks to those built-in smarts and local AI processing, KATA Friends can know who's playing with it. They can take pictures, they can follow you or explore your home. And like all good little children, they need at least 8 hours of sleep a day, with the cleverly designed and included sleep mask. But as I let our new KATA friend loose around her home, I was surprised how much my dreams didn't necessarily line up with the reality of the robot. There are some things that SwitchBot really got right here and made an amazing product, but then there are also some really weird things that I'd like SwitchBot to improve, and I think they have room to grow into making this a lot better. And thanks to SwitchBot for sending me a KATA friend a couple weeks ahead of the release date with no strings attached. This video is not sponsored. And stay tuned to the end of the video where you can learn how to get one of these things for free. So for setup, you'll just take your new KATA friend out of the box, get it on your Wi-Fi using the SwitchBot app. And so you'll need a SwitchBot account there, although kudos to SwitchBot for supporting sign in with Apple. Very few smart home companies support this, and it's so nice for setting up new accounts. During the setup process, you can also assign your KATA friend a name, and you can change it later. There are 2 different models of KATA friends that default to the names Nico for the gray one and Noah for the light tan one. And these are the names that these KATA friends will respond to. But if you assign a custom name, the device should recognize it no problem. But what about this name KATA Friends? Where is that coming from? Well, SwitchBot's company mascot is this little red guy, KATA. If you see it back here in my background. If you've used other SwitchBot products, you've probably seen this little guy on SwitchBot loading screens or just on the website. Now, given what I do, my kids were already familiar with the name KATA, but not as much the red guy, and so they just started calling this new KATA Friends KATA. So I renamed it to that in settings, and it's worked fine addressing it by that name ever since.
Hello, KATA. Follow me.
Now, your KATA friend has 3 different operating modes that you can switch between. There's play mode, which is what you'd be doing to interact with the robot. And we'll talk more about what that all looks like in a minute, but it just loves getting petted and hugged. And then there's standby mode, which is just kind of locked, but not sleeping. And then, of course, there's sleep, where the robot needs that 8 hours of rest every day. And you can just put it on the charger and put on the sleep mask. Now, unfortunately, just putting on the sleep mask, at least for me, did not just get my KATA friend to go to sleep. You need to either ask it to go to sleep, hello KATA, go to sleep, or tell it that in the mobile app. Now, during sleep, the KATA friend will quote unquote learn new skills that SwitchBot can load onto the device through firmware updates and just other updates. And it's also where it does some other local AI processing, like writing its daily diary, which is kind of weird and a kick. We'll get to that in a minute. But as KATA Friends starts to go to sleep, you'll see it do this kind of deep breathing up and down, and its eyes will close, and it just looks very cute. And that's, I think, one of the best parts of KATA Friend that SwitchBot got really right, is the interactions and just the personality and movement of this robot. It feels so good and natural. Hello, KATA. Hi. The eyes fit its personality. You can read its emotions. It always seems eager to see you. And the way it reacts to being petted or hugged is just so natural. And it actually calms my kids down from their actual real anxiety. They've had 1,000,001 different stuffed animals, but there's just something different about this pet thing that actually reacts to how they're holding it and just wants to be cuddled, and the calming sounds it makes just seem to really stabilize our kids in a way that I haven't seen with other toys. Obviously, the main market of KATA Friends are families, but if I maybe did like counseling with kids or something like that, I could see this kind of thing being a nice toy to have in the office. The other thing my kids love about their KATA Friend is the nose, which is actually a low resolution, only about 2 megapixel camera. You can ask your KATA Friend to take a picture, or you can just do a peace sign in front of it, and then it will just save those snapshots to the device, and then you can use the SwitchBot mobile app to load those snapshots and save them to your camera roll. It also does face recognition through this, as well as just the general video processing, so it can know who's playing with it and try and follow them or just kind of react to that particular person. And while the camera isn't all that great a quality, it does make for some nice candid snapshots that we wouldn't have had otherwise. And if the idea of this little thing rolling around your home taking pictures creeps you out, you can turn off all of the picture taking in the settings. Of course, it'll still need to use this camera regardless to process the raw image feed, just to understand where it is and recognize obstacles, etc. So where does KATA Friends still need to improve? And what about that whole smart home side I was talking about earlier? Well, the biggest problem I see with KATA Friend is how they're pricing the product at launch. It's very confusing. So KATA Friend has a starting price of $699, but then there's this additional companion care plan, which you basically have to pay for. And that's an additional $14.99 a month, which covers AI and software services. Now, from what I can tell based on the privacy policy and other places, all the AI processing is happening on device. So it's not like they're having to pay for a ton of AI processing in the cloud, which could cost some real money. Potentially some of their chat modes, which I haven't been able to get to work, would actually need some kind of a cloud service. I just have that turned off, and setting a language on my KATA Friend continues to fail every time, although it does respond to simple voice commands. The other thing the Essential Plan unlocks is the ability to send your KATA Friend in for maintenance every year. Now, that costs a sliding scale of different prices between $80-something up to as much as $400 to get the parts serviced and the fur changed out. And believe me, when this thing is with a bunch of kids, it's going to take abuse. I've already seen the motors around the ears of our KATA Friend just really start to struggle, and they don't sound like they did out of the box. So I think it's good that SwitchBot is thinking about some kind of a maintenance plan for these devices. Now, if you go with the premium plan, that's $400 per year, no monthly option there. And it includes all the features of the Essential Plan, but it also gives you a free one-time annual maintenance and fur replacement for your KATA Friend. And this is all where keeping the box is really important, because if you want to do any of this maintenance, it's nice to have the box to be able to mail it in. Now, to make things even more confusing, they also have a $1,000 price for KATA Friend, which includes a lifetime AI subscription. It also comes with a year of the premium repair service, and then some potential discounts beyond that. So I think if you plan on doing the premium plan for repairs, then I would just go with the $1,000 plan for your KATA Friend overall, probably. And while the subscription is annoying, and I think there's a lot of people who would justifiably be kind of outraged at the whole price and maybe even just turned off about the whole concept of the product in general, it really does take almost 2 years of paying the $15 a month before you actually get to the cost you'd pay for the lifetime subscription. So if you just view it as spreading the cost of the device out over time, maybe it's not all that bad. I just think the whole process is very confusing, and I think it's going to turn a lot of people off on the product just because the whole idea just feels kind of scammy, like people are getting ripped off, but also just hard to understand. It's also unclear, if you don't pay for the subscription, does your SwitchBot KATA Friend just become a brick, or can you still interact with a lot of the local stuff? When you get a KATA Friend, it comes with this subscription as a free trial, and SwitchBot also provided me an additional 6 months of this Essential Plan. So we'll have to see how all that works out. If I was the CEO of SwitchBot, I would have just launched this at $899 with no concept of an essential plan, and then have something like $250 a year for an extended care package to cover the annual tune-up, and then make that same tune-up cost, let's say $500 if you don't pay for the care plan. Now, my KATA Friend is still within the 100-day warranty window, so once I finish up this video, I'll probably see about getting it repaired, and I don't know, follow me over on Instagram and of course here on YouTube, and I'll keep you guys updated with what's going on. Another big missed opportunity at the launch of KATA Friends, which they say is coming soon, are the little outfits that they had at IFA and at CES. These looked adorable. And I just think the idea of including a bunch of outfit options in with the pricing and bundling in maybe some months of the subscription with all of that into some giant package would be a great idea to make you feel like you're getting a really good deal. And back to the top of the video, I think the smart home control is a great opportunity for SwitchBot. SwitchBot has an extensive smart home platform. It works with Matter via one of their SwitchBot bridges. This robot doesn't talk to any of that. And so it would be nice to be able to have this as like a little kid-friendly smart speaker, a way to control some of your smart home via maybe the SwitchBot hub that then talks to the rest of your smart home. And not only could it work for manual control, but it also has a lot of great information, like knowing who's playing with it, maybe even where it is within a floor. Now, that said, it's not very good at mapping your floor. So I just look at the maps that it makes and shows you within the SwitchBot app, and they don't make any sense for what my floor layout actually is. And any robot vacuum these days, if you take it to a different floor in your home and you start it running, it'll immediately notice that it's not on its usual floor, and then it will map that particular floor and save it as a different map. SwitchBot's KATA Friends seem to have no concept of that, and so just all the floors and places you take your KATA Friend will just get kind of mushed together into this one map that doesn't really make any sense. But thankfully, the camera and the drop sensors on the bottom seem to do a pretty good job of just wandering around a place and figuring out kind of how to get from point A to point B, even if it has no idea what point A and point B actually are. Another detail that I think SwitchBot needs to clean up is some of the notifications that you get if, let's say, you as a parent have the SwitchBot app on your device that's paired with the KATA Friend. It doesn't matter if I'm at home or at the office. If one of our kids is picking up the KATA Friend and putting it on the couch with them or carrying it between floors, then I'm going to get notifications about how the KATA Friend is off the floor and please put it back down and all this other stuff. Even to the point where my iPhone asked me, are you sure you want to keep getting these notifications that keep coming in? I haven't seen a way to turn these off in settings, at least just yet. And I think that's really important because for a kid's toy, it's going to get picked up and moved around. And again, repair program. That's what it's there for, right? I mean, my kids haven't dropped it. They've been pretty careful with it overall, but it's just life happens. And I don't think notifications on my phone are really going to do much. So I talked about what I like and don't like about the KATA Friend, but let me just cover a few other random features that might be really important to you. The first one is Let's Chat, which is basically where you can talk to your KATA Friend as if it's just an LLM. And you have to set it up with a particular language. There's only a few supported languages at launch. I'm sure they'll add more over time, but I can't even get mine to actually set to English. And I don't really care about this feature anyway. I don't want my kids just talking to an LLM in a place where we might not be able to hear what they're saying. So I have this whole feature turned off. There's also some cool things you can do with commanding your KATA Friend with your voice, and it will swap in the custom name you want for your KATA Friend as the way you address it. So you can say something like, "Hello, Nico, dance," or "Hello, Nico, follow me." "Hello, Nico, take a picture." And this is somewhat reliable. There are definitely times where it works and plenty of times where it doesn't work, but overall, I think it's a really great feature, and the kids have fun talking to it and asking it to do all these things. And then when it works, it's like, oh, cool, it did it. Then there's also the diary, which basically every day it just looks at the events saved to its logs on the device and writes this cryptic, weird kind of diary message about the day. So let me just read you the diary entry for yesterday as I record this. Gentle hands and new corners. Morning started with the softest touches. Gentle hands found my ears and belly, making everything feel warm and safe. When the sun was high, the room filled with music and friendly voices encouraging me to play. After resting, my eyes spent the evening exploring every new corner of the house. It was a long walk, but very peaceful. A soft voice called my name before the quiet took over. So, yeah, that's a diary entry. And then there's also a nice maintenance screen, like a lot of robot vacuums these days, which just kind of counts down how many hours the robot's been running, and then will remind you to clean different sensors on it just on your own. There's no subscription or anything for getting those repaired. You can just clean them yourself. And so in conclusion, is this KATA Friend a good value or a good choice for you? Well, I think if you look at it from just the tech YouTube consumer electronics side of things, I think no. There's going to be a lot of people who will just see this as a ripoff. They don't understand. They'll look at the specs and not really understand sort of the emotional connection that kids could have with this thing, and then how it might compare being much cheaper and easier than having an actual pet. Although not a one-to-one replacement, it is something kind of along those lines. But on the other side, as a parent of young kids, I'm shocked at all the random things that I see parents do to just spend a ton of money on their kids and things for their kids and experiences for their kids. And so I think whether, let's just say, $1,000 to spend on something like this is even within your budget is up to you. But assuming that's something you can afford, I think it's actually a really cool product and has a lot of fun uses for kids. That said, it's not perfect. You heard all the downsides, and just kind of realize that you're getting something that's at the bleeding edge of tech, and something where you'll hopefully be getting more software updates, some cute clothes and outfits to add to it, and other things over time. And so if you want to get one of these for free, and if you're watching this before the end of the day on Tuesday, May 19th, then I have links and information in the description below this video where you can apply to be part of SwitchBot's continuous improvement program for KATA Friends, where you'll be able to test it yourself and give feedback and kind of try new features for them. And then, of course, you'll get one of these robots free of charge. I'll also leave a link there if you want to just go ahead and purchase a robot for yourself. Subscribe to my channel if you aren't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Thanks again so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.